Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Retro Rewind. I'm your host Steve, and I have a co-host today, Mr. Simba. I guess he wants to be part of the video this time. But again, welcome to another episode, and today we are going to go back to November of 2001 for a console that I have recently started collecting for within, I would say, the last 3 or 4 years. It's a console that I had a lot of memories with, especially with my brother and some friends, and a shooter we'll get into in a little bit. But I wanted to give you a collection video of the console that I have been collecting for the last few years, and that is the original Xbox. So without further ado, I'm going to go over all the games that I have for the system and talk a little bit about each one of them and what they meant to me. And that's how I really collect. I collect for things that meant something to me and things that I know that I'll play. So, without further ado, let's start with these first two games here. And I'm going to go over these as two separate games. But, man, when this game came out, it was probably the best of this movie franchise that we'll ever have until they decide to finish the remake that's coming out for the PS5. This was based not on the movies, but in the universe, and that is the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Amazing games, and I tell you, I had put in so much hours into this game and this game. Great classics, RPG, action, BioWare at their best. The story in these was amazing. It's a little clunky now. If you were to go back and play, it's a little kind of rough to play, but still, these are just classics. And I would recommend that if you have an original Xbox, you need to get these in your collection. So definitely really great games. The next game is a 4-player multiplayer beat 'em up / action RPG, and if you're a Diablo fan, I would definitely check this out. I think it's something that you'll like. And again, with all the superhero movies and TV shows out there, this is a really good representation. And again, it's not hindered by just MCU stuff. You know, this is really based on the comic books, and that is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Now, this is the first in the series for the Ultimate Alliance. I believe there's 3. The last one came out on the Switch. And yeah, just a great game. 4-player co-op beat 'em up. Definitely something that you get a few buddies together, you can get together and play this. And it's really cool. They got Wolverine, Spider-Man, Captain America, and Blade there, and just some really good game. There's a lot of different not weapons, but abilities and things like that, so definitely a must pick up for the system. And in one of my videos, I did a pickup video a little while ago, and this was in there. I remember renting this a lot, and I'm just like, I love this series. I think the second movie in the series was probably the best action film, and probably the best sequel ever made. There's a few sequels out there, but in my opinion, I think this was the best sequel that they ever made, and that was the Terminator series. Terminator 2 was my favorite sequel of all time, and when I saw this, I was like, oh, I gotta rent it, and I rented it a few times. I never really owned it, and it's not the greatest game, but it does hold a spot in my heart, and it's something that I really like. And I think if you're a fan, you may want to give this a try. And that's Terminator Dawn of Fate, made by Atari. And basically, you're during the war, and you play as Kyle Reese, and you go through and you do all these missions and everything. It's third person. The controls are a little wonky though, but yeah, definitely give it a try. It's super cheap. I think I paid, I don't know, $8 for it or something. So yeah, definitely give it a try. It's not for everybody though. All right, on that same note, with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance, before Ultimate Alliance came about, this comic book franchise got their own RPG beat 'em up, and that is the X-Men Legends games. The first one here, and then you have the second one here, X-Men Legends 2 Rise of Apocalypse. Both of these are outstanding beat 'em up fighters, RPGs. Again, if you're a fan of Diablo, you got to try these. These are so good. Put so many hours into these with my friends back in the day, and I just love these. And they're in depth. They got a lot of different things you can put on to make your character have stronger attributes, and the story is just great. And again, it's not tied in by the MCU guidelines. This is all based on just the comics, and all of these are so good. So, and they're really cheap, so check those out. This game I used to rent a little bit, but guys at Gaming Off the Grid, if you don't know about them, check them out. I'll put a link down below to their channel, even though they probably will never see this video, but kudos to these guys for telling me about this. I remember renting it, but after watching their video about how they love this and watch them stream it, I had to pick it up, and that's NHL Hitz 2002. And I'm telling you guys, if you love like NFL Blitz and you like NHL, you definitely have to pick this up. This is such a fun game. Lots of action, hockey to it, and it's overall just a really good time. Get some friends together. Has all the teams on it, but it's just like a arcadey NHL game, and definitely really good. I'd recommend. This one, man, I got this from a Goodwill years ago. Just saw it on the shelf. I was like, I'm just gonna pick this up, and before they had Forza, this was the franchise they were going with the original Xbox to go ahead and get racing in, and that is the Project Gotham Racing 2. I haven't put too much time into these. They're like a simulating, arcade-ish almost racing game, but I got it for a couple bucks, so I was like, I'll give it a try. But again, I don't really have much time in these. I'm more of a Forza fan, but yeah, if you have the original Xbox, definitely give this a try. It is fun of what I've played. Now, this one is cheaper on this console than it is over on the PS2. Actually looks better, and I would recommend getting it on the Xbox if you're going to give this a try, because again, it's a lot cheaper. And what you doing? This guy. Anyway, definitely give this a try if you are a fan of Marvel and Max Payne and things of that nature. This game actually had an interrogation mode in it where you would grab someone and you would go into certain spots in the room and you could interrogate them. Very brutal interrogations, things with chainsaws and drills and stuff. But yeah, without further ado, it's The Punisher. Oh, this is so good. And again, this is comic book based, right? And it's great. It's a third person action shooting, and it's brutal, man. Totally brutal. It definitely earns its mature rating. But yeah, really good. Controls are good. Story's good. Graphics are good. And again, it's cheaper on the Xbox than you would get it on the PS2. So yeah, definitely check that out. I remember the first experience I had with this franchise was definitely on the Nintendo 64, and it was definitely not the version to play, but that's where I played it, and that was Rainbow Six. Now, this franchise, I can say that I don't have a lot of experience, but again, this was another pickup from Goodwill a few years ago, and it was like $1 or something. And I only played not even 6 hours of this, and it's the Rainbow Six 3 Black Arrow. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of the Rainbow Six series, and what was your first Rainbow Six game? Mine again was on the Nintendo 64, and it was just Rainbow Six. But again, yeah, let me know what you guys think. All right, so this was a game that I rented back in the day a lot, but I didn't ever own it. But I think it is a very unique game, to say the least. It's made by Codemasters, and from the creators of Time Splitters, and that is Second Sight. And this is a you play this this character who comes out of a coma and has no memory, but you start to learn all these psychic abilities, and the way they have it set up with the controls and everything, it's very smooth. So I would definitely give this a try. It's fairly cheap, and yeah, it's really good. Let me know if you've ever played this down in the comments below. All right, y'all. So I'm at some point I will get the second one in this series, but you know, it's getting to that time where people want to play a lot of scary games and things. But I would definitely give this a try. Again, this is cheaper on the Xbox, and I believe, and the graphics, in my opinion, are better based on the hardware. And that is The Suffering. You play a guy who's in jail, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose with these creatures and all these things going on. And definitely a series that I think they should bring back. And it's definitely something you should check out. So pretty cool game. This one has DVD extras, the making of, there's a documentary, and sneak peek of PsyOps, the Mindgate conspiracy. So yeah, definitely check this series out. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the second one soon. And if you played that, let me know in the comments. Okay, so this is, I don't know where the other one is in the series, but you know, before Call of Duty and all that craze, there was this line of games, and I tell you, the first level in these games, especially this one and the one I get to a little bit later, was a full immersive experience. I was blown away by what was going on in these levels, and you just really had to be there and experience it. And that is the Medal of Honor series. Now this one is Medal of Honor Rising Sun, and this has to do with the Pearl Harbor. And the first level, man, there's stuff going on all over the place, blowing up. It's just crazy. And this used to be a really, really top-notch shooter back in the day before Call of Duty took over. So if you get a chance, definitely play these. And they're super cheap, guys. You can get these for like under $10. So yeah, definitely recommend those games. Now, I'm not a big basketball fan, but when I tell you my favorite basketball game of all time was right, NBA Jam. Just love it. Boom, shakalaka. He's on fire. I mean, how could you not like that, right? And then EA Big, or EA Sports Big is what they used to call it, came out with this franchise, and it's probably my favorite basketball game of all time. Again, you know, I'm not a big basketball fan, but, you know, right here, guys, NBA Street 2. And I tell you, this is the cheaper way to go if you're wanting to play this game. Again, the graphics are better. I believe the controls are better. And the game overall is just an amazing... Even if you don't like basketball, I would recommend that you get this and play. It's definitely a central sports game on the console. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. What was your favorite in this franchise? Mine was definitely number 2. NBA Street 2, great game. All right, this is I just love these type of games. I think they're good for a good, you know, 5 to 30 minutes here and there, and just something to put your brain away and just play. And that's Flat Out. I think this is highly recommended. Uh, it's got a whole bunch of different bonus games, and it's just breaking stuff and smashing things. Demolition Derby. I mean, it's good for you just don't want to do anything and sit down and just put your brain away. Yeah, you put this in, play it for 30 minutes, you're gonna have a good time. Now, we're gonna go talk about these a little bit later. But here is a series that, for me, is hit or miss. I play them, but not something that I'm a huge fan of. But I do enjoy the freedom of doing however you want to do the level. You can sneak in and not attack anybody except the last person you need to, or you could go in guns blazing and take out everybody. And that is the Hitman series. And this here is Hitman 2. Silent Assassin. I got it super cheap, but yeah, I think the freedom that these games give you is why it's got such a good fan base to it, and something that I really like. The freedom of just doing whatever you want in the level. Like I said, you could go in and just silently take out everybody. You could go in and just take out the main objective, or you could go in guns blazing. So the freedom to kind of do whatever you want, I think is pretty cool. And what was your favorite Hitman game? All right, so we're going to go back to BioWare. And I actually think the mechanics in this are better than Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. But again, I don't think it has a big franchise behind it like Star Wars. So you may not get invested too much in the actual story or characters, but I actually think it's a great game, and I think actually it is made better, and that is the Jade Empire. And I have the limited edition here, and it comes with 2 discs, comes with the bonus content here, and then of course you have the game, and you got a nice beautiful manual, all color manual there. But yeah, I thought this was a really well done game. I think the fighting mechanics are a lot better, excuse me, in this game, and just, yeah, really good. Definitely, if you have an Xbox, this is definitely something you have to get. All right, so I'm a huge fan of this movie trilogy. I guess you could call it 6 movies, but the other one's like a side story to this. But I'm a huge fan of this. I remember going and seeing the first movie in the theater, and as soon as it was over, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit here and wait for the next one, because I didn't want it to end. I was so invested in the characters, the story, and the way that it was brought to screen by Peter Jackson was just amazing. And that is The Lord of the Rings. And this is the Third Age. So this is a RPG based around the time frame of The Lord of the Rings. I thought it was pretty good. You don't play as a lot of the characters from the movie. You actually have 6 new playable characters. But this was the time that EA Games had exclusive rights to this franchise. And, it's fairly cheap. I would recommend that you give it a try. It does have a lot of... It is like a... very long, so... it might take you a little while to beat this, but, I'd recommend it. And what was your favorite Lord of the Rings movie or game? Let me know down below. Speaking of that, we also have the Two Towers. When these games came out, I tell you, this was one of my favorite type of beat 'em ups with a buddy. Just go in there and hack and slash your way through the movie. And what was really cool, this actually has exclusive movie content that you couldn't get anywhere, and that was really really cool. It's kind of the first kind of movie tie-in things that they did that I thought was really good. So yeah, check that out. Now, this franchise is backwards compatible, and this was the first time that we've ever experienced bullet time, and that is the Max Payne series. What can I say? I mean, this game was epically awesome, good narrative, great graphics, and again, we had bullet time. So, yeah, must have for the system. Now, these games were exclusive to the Xbox, and if you like big robots, I would recommend giving these a try, and that is the Mech Assault games. We have Mech Assault 2, Lone Wolf, and Mech Assault. So these are highly recommended on the system. Great controls, great just getting inside robots and blowing stuff up. So yeah, check that out. Let me know what you thought down below if you've played those. Now, this was very, I wouldn't say if it's controversial, but when they were talking about what this game was going to do and what you could do in it, and then what we finally got really wasn't what they said it was going to be, but still definitely I think a great game. This one is actually sealed. I can still play it on the Xbox One and everything, but I just, I don't have many sealed games, so, but definitely one that I put a lot of time into, and I really enjoy this game. I love the aspect of being good or evil, and you can fart in this game. It's awesome. If you hear a little noise in the background, that's my dryer, so I do apologize. But yeah, that's Fable, and this is the Lost Chapters. And again, I think Fable 2 is my favorite, but this one started it all. And again, there was a lot of things they said was going to happen in it that we could do, and we really didn't get that, but that's okay. I still really like this. And tell me down below, what's your favorite Fable game? All right. This is my boomstick. And all my horror fans, if you know, you know. And that is Evil Dead Regeneration. Now, I love the Evil Dead movies, and I think this is the best game that they've ever released in that franchise. So if you get a chance to play this, definitely play it. You actually have a Deadite little companion there. I think his name is I can't remember his name, but it's voiced by Ted Raimi, and you can do things like kick him and throw him, and I just think this is so cool. It's really good. There's a Fistful Boomstick game as well, but this one I think is the more refined, and if you get a chance you can find this, definitely pick it up. Classic. I love this game. I would recommend that any Xbox owner purchase that. All right, so again, I was a huge Diablo fan. I love those type of games, and there's some PS2 games, Champions Return to Norath and Champions Return to Arms. And when Xbox came out, this was only on Xbox, and it was very similar to those games, but had a rich background of D&D, and that is Dungeons and Dragons Heroes. I think this is a highly recommended 4-player, just go in and killing stuff, have fun with your friends, have some, friends over and just have fun playing. You can have up to 4 different type of characters, and it's just great co-op game. So highly recommend. Have you ever played this? And if you have, who's your favorite character and class? Okay, so this is part of a series, and I don't have a lot of experience when the first ones came out, but I did play this a lot, and I really enjoyed this. Not my favorite in the series, but The Blood Omen 2. You play as Cain, and this I recommend is pretty good. It's a third person action game, adventure game. You go around playing as Cain, and you have to reclaim the High Throne with some bloodlust and brutality. And just a great game. It's part of the Legacy of Kain series. But yeah, I remember fondly renting this and just playing through a lot of it. And yeah, definitely give this a try. It's super cheap too. And this game is part of an anime series. When Pokemon was coming out, it was the biggest rage, and we had, you know, all these type of things, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and then we also had Digimon. And this is actually the cheapest version you can get of this same title, and that's Digimon 4, Digimon World. And it's kind of like a adventure, hack and slash type game, and you can digivolve your Digimon, and it's pretty cool. I haven't really played a lot of the series, but I do really enjoy this game, and I highly recommend, if you're going to play it on the Xbox. It is a lot cheaper. Now, going back to that hockey game, the first in the series that I played for this was on the Nintendo 64 as well, and that was Blitz. And when I heard that they have this on the Xbox, I was like, oh, I have to play that. And that's the Blitz, the League. This does not have any of the NFL teams, but has their own teams on it and stuff. And this is so fun, guys. It's a realistic-esque version of Blitz. There's you could do team journey through the intensity of a full season, but just fun stuff, man. If you don't, I would highly recommend that you guys play Blitz however you can, but it is cheaper on here. All right, now we're down to the last two games, and what would a Xbox collection be without these two flagship games that defined first-person multiplayer shooters? And that is Halo and Halo 2. I remember I used to work for Blockbuster back in the day, and when the OG Xbox came out, I was like, I have to play Halo. Like, it looked so cool. And that was just the first player mode. I had no idea how crazy and addictive I would have gotten to the multiplayer, right? And, you know, Halo 1, I was, my buddy had an Xbox. He wasn't really big on Halo. And I was like, man, let me borrow your system so I can play some Halo. I gotta play Halo, right? And I finally played Halo, and it was amazing. I went through the first story portion of it, and then the ability to play your friends online or 4-player co-op on the couch. Oh man, this was so good. Sniping and rocket launching and grenades. Such a good time. And I didn't even think it could do any better. And then we got Halo 2. And this is the limited edition. I remember having this version going up to GameStop or EB Games at the time, I believe it was, and just waiting in line to get my collector's edition. Finally got it, raced home, put it into the Xbox, didn't bother with the single player, hooked it up to the internet, and me and my brother, I tell you, we found that back then there was Xbox Live, but you could also go online and find other rooms that you didn't have to use Xbox Live. And I thought that was a pretty cool feature back in the day. You didn't have to use Xbox Live. You could find your own group of people and just play without using their servers. And I tell you, me and my brother played hours upon hours of this game. So what would an Xbox collection be without the Halo series and without these two games? So highly recommended. I know everybody's talked everything Halo, so there's nothing else I can really say, but I would definitely recommend that you pick up the Halo series and give that a try, especially on the OG Xbox. And again, definitely good. And again, everybody, thanks for tuning into this episode of Retro Rewind. That is my collection of the original Xbox games. Let me know down below what is your favorite Xbox game and series or franchise. And again, thank you for tuning in to Retro Rewind, and I will see you guys later.